everyone to First Canada Connect's Career Pathways Roundtable discussion with Georgian College. Our intent today is to connect the First youth community in Georgian College and expose them to post-secondary STEM-based programs and degree programs. Today's discussion will prove to be exciting as we hear about electromechanical engineering, building automation and systems integration, environmental technology, skilled trades, technology at Georgian, and perhaps a little bit about the industry partnerships that allow for enriched co-op placements for the students that attend Georgian College. All right, let's get right to it. As a longtime FIRST mentor and technology teacher myself who has taught thousands of students and introduced them to electronics and automation, I'd like to direct a question to Tanveer. A significant portion of FIRST youth would be keen to study mechatronics. The FIRST experience exposes students to situations that require an array of skills in design, physics, modeling, analytics, mechanical and electrical, mechanical engineering through hands-on troubleshooting, to name a few. Tanveer, can you comment a bit about the Georgian College Mechatronics 3-year co-op diploma program and comment how you feel the FIRST students will be well prepared for success in such a dynamic program?
That's a great question, John. Let me start off with an example that everyone can relate to. So initially, if you recall, back in the good old days there, we used to wind up our windows manually by hand. So that system was something that was known as a pure mechanical system. There was no motors, there was no electrical units or anything associated with that. As technology progressed, we added a little motor switch that essentially you push up and the window goes up and down. Nowadays, what's happening is you can essentially go to your cell phone and say, you know what, I'm going to be leaving work at this time. I want the car started. I want the air conditioning started. I want the windows to be rolled down to cool it down and then have everything cooled down to a nice temperature. So that's essentially what's happening now. So the Mechatronics program is basically essentially addressing that entire problem in its totality. So students will be working on computer science where they actually have to do the computer-based programming, using HTML and other programming languages. They'll also be looking at the electrical systems, the motors, the controllers, the sensors, the actuators needed to actually design such a system, and also the mechanical implications of the system. So the forces, the loads, the stresses, the detailed drawings, and such that are needed to design such a system. The Georgian College Mechatronics program is going to be starting in the fall 2021 semester for the first time. It contains also other micro-credentials such as a Siemens certified mechatronics system certification, which students are eligible to complete after they complete the diploma, which will also increase their employability. I think first robotic students would be a great addition to this because they're going to have background in physics, math, computer science, robotics, programming, all of the things that are related to this program. The second important thing is that they've already done a lot of hands-on skills, working with equipment. So that's something that the Mechatronics program at Georgian College has implemented in the program. So we are in fact using a systems-wide approach where we're looking at the big system initially. Rather than just focusing on theory on how a motor works, we'll physically look at a system with a motor running, show them the motor, break it down, and then from there go to the other components of the system. So I think they would be well situated for this program.
Awesome. So our next question is to Samantha. So I'm personally very interested in environmental programs and environmental sciences. So I was wondering if you would mind telling us a little bit about the use of technology in the environmental programs at Georgian College.
Absolutely, Julia. Thanks for the question. At Georgian College, we have 3 environmental programs. We have a 2-year environmental technician, a 3-year environmental technology, and then we have a joint program with Lakehead University to earn a degree, which also includes our 2-year diploma. So in our environmental programs, we know they're science-based. We're going to look at chemistry and biology and physics and math and geology, but we also have a huge technology component. And some of the careers and opportunities that our students do both in courses with us and as part of co-op or upon graduation is they use their computer knowledge, their technology knowledge to monitor what our environment is doing. So I have a couple examples that I can share with you. So our students that end up working in the water and wastewater industry, they are going to use continuous on-site monitoring to figure out what is the chlorine reading for our drinking water to make sure our drinking water is safe and meets the provincial regulation requirements. We have students that work for conservation authorities, and they are monitoring what happens when we have rainstorms. So they have devices out in the field that they are connecting to remotely to monitor rain levels, flow levels in rivers to get a sense of what's happening with those storms that come through. We also have a lot of use of computer software, so AutoCAD, which is a computer-based drafting program to model and map out, whether it's a soil profile or something to do with the land. And then our students use GIS, which is Geographical Information Systems, and it's a software that allows us to link data points to a map. And so, for example, in the past, our students have looked at Lake Simcoe, which is in Ontario, and they've looked at the septic systems around Lake Simcoe to analyze what the phosphate levels and leakage from those septic systems are doing to the lake. So there's a lot of opportunity to use technology and science skills in an environmental program, and that's why we're classified under technology rather than environmental studies. So thank you so much for the question.
Thank you so
Samantha.
much. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Thank you, Samantha. My next question is for Mr. Bilamjian. I heard about the Building Automation and Systems Integration program at Georgian College, and it sounds amazing. What is building automation, and are there any misconceptions about the program? And are you able to tell us who would be eligible to apply?
Sure. Thank you for the question. So building automation is a system that is designed to provide more comfort to the occupants for less running costs and definitely for less energy consumption. And maybe that's why people associate building automation directly with the smart thermostat or maybe with a fridge that is connected to the internet. And those are definitely part of the building automation system. But when we talk about building automation systems and systems integration in an academic program scope, we need to think bigger. We need to think about larger buildings, think about an airport and an office tower, a hospital, or more specifically, let me relate it to a movie maybe you have watched, a spy movie, a thriller movie, an action movie where the agent is trying to get into a building that is in high security. Maybe they're trying to take away a secret weapon, but there is also someone else away from the action sitting in front of a laptop, and this person is controlling everything that can be controlled in the building, from lighting to locking and unlocking doors, moving cars in the elevator, and stuff like that. So building automation, like most technology, went from, for example, computers and cell phones, went from science fiction to becoming real things, and that's what we're going to offer. The first intake is going to be in September 2021. We're very excited about it. We are building a state-of-the-art laboratory for it. The program itself, the academic program itself, is what we call a graduate certificate. It means simply that you need another post-secondary credential to be eligible to apply to the program. However, to be honest with you, building automation is all about computers and softwares and signals going in and out. And I can see that every time I'm watching a FIRST Robotics, competition. So it's not too far from what the FIRST Robotics people are doing on the floor. It's just that it's a little bit different, and this program particularly is built in an academic environment. So I truly believe that whoever is already in love with automation and controls will already be thinking about building automation.
Awesome. That sounds spectacular.
Well, Sam, that makes me think of the movie Mission Impossible and having that skill set. Very exciting. Sam, stay tuned because I'm going to direct the next question to you. At FIRST Robotics Canada, we feel that, again, the FIRST experience imparts job-ready skills in our students. and that they're very well positioned for career pathways that are both meaningful and rewarding. One area of study and hands-on skills development that is aligned with the first experience is skilled trades and apprenticeships. From design to welding, precision skills, automation, and advanced manufacturing. So Sam, could you provide an overview of the variety of skilled trades and apprenticeship programs offered at Georgian College?
Of course, that's a very good question, very interesting question, most of the time overlooked for different reasons. Georgian College, first of all, let's say, offers a variety, as you mentioned, and if you would allow me to read just the names of those apprenticeships, for example, child and youth worker, child development practitioner, cook, developmental services worker, educational assistants, electrician, general carpenter, general machinist, hairstylist, marine engineer, engine technician, mold maker, plumber, and so forth. So if you've noticed, it's not only about working with technology, hands-on engines, it's also about cooking, it's also about working with children or in an educational setting. An apprenticeship is a program that is not necessarily well understood widely because although it is one part of the three government categories of post-secondary education, along with the universities and colleges, apprenticeship is a government program of its own, and it is a very, I would say, attractive path for people who are looking to be always engaged with applied technology, a little bit of science, working hands-on, innovating, bring in your transferable skills, for example, from First Robotics Canada to any of the technology based apprenticeship programs, and you are going to become an entrepreneur probably because you already have the background, you already have the passion to build and develop and create something new. So Georgian College does, offer a very wide variety of apprenticeship programs, and I truly hope to see a lot of you there.
Oh, thank you, Sam, for that. I can tell you as a tradesperson myself, I was amazed when I looked through the Georgian website to see the depth and breadth of fantastic skilled trades and apprenticeship programs offered there. You don't always think of cosmetology or hairstyling and marine mechanics and those types of things, but just fantastic. I'm sure that the first students will be seeking opportunities at Georgian too.
So our next question is to William. So William, would you mind providing us insight into what it's like to be a Georgian College student in general, and then tell us specifically about the electrical engineering program?
Certainly. So first off, like in general, as a student life before the pandemic is quite amazing. I used to be able to go and enjoy not only attending class, but getting to know my classmates that I was working with, because usually between classes you have some free time, so you get together, you study, you start working on projects and the such. There's also the cafeteria there, so you can enjoy lunch, as well as the first class and the last class, which are two restaurants, which you can definitely enjoy. As well, too, they have tons of facilities to take advantage of. I used to basically go work out and then go to class afterwards. In the classrooms, tons of hands-on learning is available. You get both lecture material, which is more in-depth and theory based, and the teachers there are all basically professionals in their fields, so they all know exactly what they're talking about, and they can give you not just the knowledge but also firsthand experience what it's like using that knowledge. And then you go into the lab situations, and in the labs there's all the technology that you're using is basically what you will see in industry, and you get to get that first hands-on experience before you have to go and use it yourself. Specifically, talking about like the electrical engineering program, it goes into utilities, electronics, and it dives into robotics and PLC programming as well too. And robotics and PLC programming, they kind of go hand in hand in some situations, but with the utilities portion of it, you're using the testing equipment. You're getting to see exactly how it is that a utility such as Hydro One would be able to go in and measure and maintain their systems. With the robotics, you get first hands-on experience with the KUKA robots, which are essentially the same robots that you would see if you were to go to most manufacturing plants, and you get to program them. You get to test them out and actually get to see what it would be like to work on them as if you were going out in the field. The other thing I can mention as well too with electronics, you're getting your hands on little processors. We do some programming with the Arduino boards, which are actually really neat little microprocessors that are capable of doing quite a fair bit. And then when you do go out on co-op, I know when I went out on my co-op, it was fantastic having that lab experience, because it was able to have me seamlessly transition between being a student to being a worker, and that's important. That's really what helps you hone your skills, get your name out there. And I'm on the job search right now, but I'm using every contact I got for from my previous 3 co-ops here with Georgian. Right now with COVID, it's still great being a student. Your day-to-day routine shifts a little bit. Mine is checking Blackboard every morning, making sure I'm not missing anything. Blackboard is like the one go-to for all your classes. It has all your information. Right now, teachers have lectures available at certain times that you can attend, where you can still talk to them one-on-one through chat, or like we're doing right now over video conferencing. But they also record their content. So if you're like myself and you got a part-time job while handling school, you don't have to worry about the timer constraints, because afterwards you can come home after work. So you missed your class, you can go on, watch the recorded lecture, and refer back to it too for studying purposes, which is fantastic. It's been a huge help.
Thank you, William. That student life at Georgian sounds really, really fun. I have a question for Mr. Saeed. I'm really interested in hearing about what types of technology I might expect to use if I went to Georgian College. Could you tell us a little bit about 3D scanning labs and additive manufacturing, and how these technologies play a part in the program? And also, what is your favorite part about these programs, and how can the youth get involved?
That's a great question. It'd be my pleasure to answer it. So the additive manufacturing space is a recent addition to the Georgian College lab space. Essentially, with product design and product development, as you know, products are being designed a lot quicker than they were in the past. So typically, a phone would take many years to develop. You wouldn't see another iteration of it for many years. Now you're seeing, a phone being developed and then an iteration coming every 6 months. How is that happening? That's happening from the use of computer-aided design, computer-aided engineering, and additive manufacturing systems. So essentially, in our program, in the mechanical engineering program, we cover these courses in great depth. We ensure students are able to not only effectively use a CAD system. They do 4 CAD courses where essentially they start off from creating a model from 2D principles all the way to 3D physical prototyping. We use a variety of software and tools. We also print out the parts, and we also use laser scanning in case we need to reverse engineer some of the products. It's consistent with a lot of what industry is doing now. Hopefully that answers your question.
I also have a follow-up question. Now, I noticed that you do a lot of volunteering. How can high school students get into volunteering around around additive manufacturing and 3D scanning labs?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer at the college. Essentially, you would have to touch base with some of the administration at the college to see what opportunities are available. I know myself, I do participate in Skills Ontario and Skills Canada competitions. I know that is something that is available at the post-secondary level. So that's something where something that I do get involved in. I think other areas of volunteer, I'm not specifically sure in terms of what volunteer opportunities are available in the mechanical engineering department. However, that's something that we can explore together, and we can touch base with the administration and see what there is to offer.
I'd like to move the next question over to Samantha and ask Samantha if you would be kind enough to wrap up any other important comments and statements you'd like for the audience to hear about Georgian College.
Absolutely, John. Thanks very much. So just to give the audience an understanding, Georgian College has 7 campuses within Southern Ontario. Most of the programs, or actually all the programs we've talked about today, are located on the Barrie campus. But we have over 13,000 students attending Georgian College, and that includes over 4,000 international students. We have over 130 market-driven programs, and all of our programs are associated with what we call an industry advisory committee. So we have industry members telling us what our programs need to have in them so that our graduates are ready for the workforce. And that's one of the big focuses of the college level. Many of our programs include work integrated learning like co-op. And again, many of the ones we've talked about today include co-op. And we have a variety of programs, 2-year programs, 3-year, and we also have some 4-year degree programs. So the first students might be interested in the Lakehead-Georgian partnership. We have 4 programs within that. There is an electrical engineering, an environmental sustainability, an applied life science, and a computer science. Now these degree diplomas allow you to earn the Lakehead degree and the Georgian diploma within 4 years. So it's a good combination of the theory and the learning you would receive at a university, but also the hands-on and practical skills that you're going to receive at a college level. And all of those are applied through the university system, through Lakehead University. But you get 2 degrees. So 2 degrees in 4 years is pretty good with the Ontario education system that we have. And if students are wondering, I want to get a degree, but I like the idea of hands-on with the college, the other opportunities we have is many of our programs have what we call articulation agreements. And this allows a graduate from the college diploma to apply to a university with some guaranteed advanced standing. And so in the programs I'm familiar with, environmental, we have a lot of uptake of our students doing our 3-year environmental technology program and then moving on to university to earn that degree. And then we've had quite a few move on to get master's degrees and further than that. So it's a really good way to balance that hands-on that we want, because we want to be in the lab and we want to be in the field, and that theory learning as well. So I want students to be aware of that. I know Sam has mentioned the BASE program, which is a graduate certificate program, which again requires something before. So whether it's a diploma or a degree before and then entering into the grad certificate. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, Georgian's been in the news a little bit lately with some of the great partnerships we're having with industry. Last year in 2019, there was an agreement, a partnership with Honda of Canada Manufacturing, $1.8 million focused on student learning and student experiences in research and innovation. And then recently we had a $1 million partnership with Magna International for the Mechatronics and Industry 4.0. So we are working really closely with industry to make sure that our graduates and our students get the best possible experience. So thanks, John, for letting me share.
That's fantastic. I just can't believe the spectrum of and range of programs that Georgian offers at all the campuses, and the idea of being in a co-op placement perhaps at one of your industry partners, such as Magna and Honda and others, just fantastic. And I can't help but think that, and how hyped I am if I could have an opportunity to go to Georgian. But honestly, I'm going to ask a question of Will. What's life like at Georgian outside of Georgian College itself? Because it just seems to be sitting in the middle of the wonders of nature.
Well, life outside of Georgian. So I attend the Barrie campus usually, and the Barrie campus itself, being situated on the northern end of the city, it's got a lot to offer as far as, like, the city of Barrie itself has a lot to offer as far as nature, like nature parks and trails and stuff that you can dive into. As well too, we got a very vibrant city life that students are able to take advantage of. Usually with the downtown area, there's lots of different restaurants and unique and culture driven experiences that are always available down on that lakefront. That's always fun to enjoy. Myself, I live just outside of Barrie, so even being out in like the Aurelia area and the city surrounding Barrie, you'll find that a lot of that has less city life, so you get to kind of go out and enjoy nature a little bit more. You get to have some different experiences that maybe you wouldn't partake in if you were, say, going to like a college down in Toronto or something like of that sort. I personally, I drive to the school every day, but I find myself, Barrie is such a good city that I find myself sticking around, as it was particularly between classes and the such. And the college itself has a lot to offer to do for a student to do on campus on its own as well. So yeah, it's a comfortable environment. The area around is very safe and very, very welcoming, especially to anyone who might be an international student or somebody just, you know, coming from a larger city and getting used to that smaller life.
Well, thank you, Will. I'm sure that once the students hear about the opportunities at Georgian, they're going to be excited to go, whether it's because of the programs or the addition of the natural surroundings out there in your community and Lakehead and other areas where Georgian hosts campuses. I want to take an opportunity here to just say I am absolutely sure that today's discussion will be received as exciting to our student population and informative also. It was good to hear firsthand from the experts about the incredible programs offered at Georgian College and to gain insight into how first students would be successful in any program that they would seek as part of their roadmap to a rewarding and successful career. Thank you also to our youth council members, the First Canada Youth Council members, Julia and Rudy. We appreciate you being here and helping to host some of the questions with our experts here today. And to Georgian College, of course, for your participation and the valued partnership that First Robotics Canada has with Georgian College. And overall, a big thank you to all of us, and take care, everyone, and thank you for your time today.